The champ is here.
We will definitely not shut up and dribble.
The champ is here. I must be the greatest. The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man,
MH.
Yes, he is the DB of the show. We are Black in Sports, giving a voice to the culture that won't shut up and dribble. And here we're bringing you back inside the locker room where we talk about the topics in and around the game. MH, you ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So today's topic, man, we're going to go back and forth and just talk about combine versus pro day, right? We're talking about the NFL combine versus a pro day. And, just even though we're shifting to a better paradigm in life, we're still feeling the residual effects of 2020. So the NFL's had to adjust. So this year, for the first time since about the 80s, we have not had a NFL combine. And the NFL has done a really, really great job about turning that into an event, because we always talk about the different leagues and how they battle to stay relevant. And this is one of those things that they push to stay relevant.
Yeah, Naptown.
Yeah, man, you got some flashbacks. Now, were you still in Naptown when the draft ever went on?
Yeah, I lived there at the time, but I never for a couple years downtown. So literally right across the street from I can't think of the stadium name right now.
House or
wherever the Coast play. I don't know why I can't think of the stadium name right now.
That part.
Yeah, but I lived right down the street, but I always had to leave town and work away from Indianapolis when they were in town. So I never got to sneak in and scout anybody. But
right.
Tom of 40 or nothing like that with some random credential. But it was always exciting for them to come in.
Well, even the whole city, though, right? Like it's a big deal. You're talking about the top people, and that's. Some may not know there's multiple combines that happen, when you're you're in college and you're looking to go to the next level. But that is the main one.
Yeah, the NFL combine, that's Deion Sanders. That's the real one. So, yeah. So
we want to talk about combine, the NFL combine versus pro days, right? And so combine, they have the standard test, right? So it's 40-yard dash, the vertical, the shuttle, and all these drills that you do. And then it's a pro day. And I'm already shitting on pro days, right? Because it's just like, it's a glorified 7-on-7 to me. You know what I mean? And if I'm wrong, correct me.
No, I mean, they're similar.
The 7-on-7s or the combine and the...
Yeah, like the combine and the pro days are similar. And just from a testing standpoint. So I think, obviously the pro days are probably a little more comfortable for the athletes that participate. I'm talking about the top tier. And then for the athletes, like I was back in the day, it's their opportunity because, be realistically, there's thousands and thousands of college football players that won't ever get invited to the NFL combine. So this is their chance to have scouts come to them or get measurables that would, equate something similar to the combine. So
raise their draft stock a little bit, right?
Correct. So that's just a chance, right? So that's
just a chance.
Yeah. So they're similar. I'll put it that way.
They're similar, right? But that's all they're reverting to, right? So since they canceled and won't be having it for COVID reasons and things like that, that's what they moved to. So they just said, we're going to go to all of these pro days.
Right.
But they're not similar, man. There's discrepancies. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah, I think there's definitely discrepancies in the times. So for instance, I saw a lot of 4.3s at pro days that I'm like, I don't know if I would see the same at NFL combine, but I don't know if that's necessarily, slower hands at the pro day with the timer, or that's just like the whole anxiety piece that comes with the NFL combine.
Man. Come on, man. That's like you going back to your weight room with your weight coach. You gonna get that extra rep. Like, did you really like arms out?
Yeah. There's some truth to that, but I mean, there's NFL coaches and scouts that are kind of performing the combine, or the pro day, so to speak, and kind of watching, the numbers and getting their own times, whatever the case may be. I just think it's like the anxiety thing. I mean, you think about it, you got to travel to Indianapolis. These are going to be the best 200 or 300. How many people is invited to the combine?
3 to 3.
Yeah,
with that, right?
Yeah, 350, and there's probably a little bit of anxiety that comes with that, right? And then versus being back at a pro day where you're at your own facility, maybe you relax a little more. I don't know.
Well, the biggest part of this game is the competition, right? So that's part of the test, right? That's an element that you're missing. Ish. Okay. Why ish?
Because
this is like, so if it's a draft stock, right? Like if someone runs a 40 or someone gets that 25th rep, and you're on 24, you counting that in your head, or just that energy to be the top person, right?
Yeah, I think the energy for sure, right? But at the same time, I've never seen a bench press in the middle of the field of an actual game. So like, while there's obviously competition that goes to like, hey, DB over here got 26 reps. I need to get 27, right? Or whatever that looks like. Or, he jumped a 41 inch. I need to jump 43. Yeah, there's some elements of that competition, but at the same time, the actual competition of football is not played in tights. so I don't know. I don't know if that's equivalent there.
So then that's where that was my whole summation, right? Like if we were going to wrap this and, hit the end music, football's not played like that, right? Like that was my whole thing. So you led me quicker to this point because I agree with that. No, I agree.
Okay.
Like, that's not where football's. I can go back to high school and we were talking about, you got that guy that was the strongest dude in the could bench all outside. And then you let him get off the bus first, right? He got off the bus first, but he didn't step on that field.
Yeah, good. Leave him right on the sideline.
Right on the sideline, clapping his ass off. So, we had a couple of those, right? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, these are drills and to assimilate, to get, times and strength and things like that. They're hopefully transferable to the field.
Yeah.
But you are like a film study guy, right? Where's that?
I love it.
You know what I mean? So why isn't that talked about, or why aren't we kind of really relying on that, aspect of they should even, you see Gruden and there's been some others that'll take them to the chalk, like, hey, kind of map this out, look at film where your reads at, but that's how football is played. So don't you think that's the film study part of it is missing?
Yeah, I think it's yes, to a certain degree.
Okay.
I think the film doesn't lie. We've all heard this phrase, the eye in the sky never lies, right? So if you can play, you can play. That's the invitation to the party. That's the ticket to the dance, right? Mm-hmm. But say you go to a pro day or a combine and you see a guy that's running a little faster or jumping a little higher. Maybe that just confirms something like, oh, that confirms that explosiveness that I saw on film,
right?
By his 40 and his vertical jump or broad jump or whatever the case is. Or, man, I didn't see that explosiveness on film. Let me go back and, he tested great. Let me go back and film and really look at it. I think it's just all about putting different layers of information into this investment that you're going to make. So, this is just keep it real. This is an investment. Whether it's the first, second, third, fourth round draft choice, whoever you bring it into your organization, It's quite an investment. So I think the pro days, combines, that kind of stuff is just added information that says, okay, this is who he is on film. This is what he tests at, and so forth and so forth. So I just think it's information.
No, and that's what it is, right? It's a collection of information, putting this puzzle, because at the end of the day, you could take all of this information, be as thorough as you could, and we still have busts, right? Like people that were supposed to on paper, they answered, they interviewed, and all of that stuff was, where it was supposed to be as far as culture fit and everything. And then you get them and you're like, wah, wah.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's a whole layer to what we've talked about in sports now, just being analytical. There's a whole nother layer. It's numbers, right? Hey,
big numbers game.
Yeah, if I'm going to draft a receiver, maybe I'm not saying this is the case, but maybe some people say like, hey, I only want receivers to run this number, or they need to have a minimum threshold of this explosiveness or something like that. So I just think it's just information to help you make your selection, I would think.
Who does it help the most, in your opinion?
That's a good question. I think the top guys, the guys that we know are going to get drafted, I don't know if it helps or hurt them necessarily, right?
Right.
Obviously, if you're a corner, you can't run 4.8, right? So like that would hurt you as a top pick. But for them, I think the film is the overarching piece for them.
Mm-hmm.
For the guys, like I said, the MHs of the world, I think it helps. Hey, if this random dude from Northern Colorado is running a 4.2, well, let me look at his film. Maybe I could just get him to camp to see what he looks like in person, right? Whatever the case is. So I think it helps them.
And it takes it back right to the high school days, right? When you be like, oh, such and such college is coming to look at Buddy. Oh, I'm about to blast him. Like I'm gonna show off, right? So it's kind of like that same situation.
Yeah, it is, man. And it's the one thing I guess I don't like about the whole process, particularly for the smaller guy, the small school guy, is, hey man, this is a one-shot opportunity for them for the most part, right? If you don't run a 4.3, I'm just thinking about my own personal pro day experience, but if you don't run this, you don't do this and this, I mean, you already just a dude from a little small school. You're not ready for this level. And so for so many people at that level, you've succeeded up to this point, and it's almost like somebody's telling you you're not good enough, right?
Right. After all that work, like, in your dream,
I'm not good enough. Right. I've made it to college. I got a full ride scholarship. I've played in college, and now you're telling me I'm not good enough. That's the first time a lot of young men have heard that in their lives, and that's tough to adjust to.
Especially
the hairline was gone.
You have flashback there.
You're not good enough, man. You're just not good enough. Never heard that before.
And that's like a really hard story after coming from high school and being recruited, the recruiting process, and then doing your thing at wherever you were at. Yeah, it's a nice pill to swallow.
A nice one. Don't go down easy. So I might be still swallowing it.
So who is pause? So who is
boss? My fault. That
yeah,
correct.
I got you.
Edit that part out.
Yeah, that's stupid pause. Anyway, back on track. I do think it does hurt defensive people if we talk position wise.
Okay.
A lot more, right? So I like the point. You're definitely spot on with the little guy, looking to make a storm and the pressure and all that. But I think it hurt defensive people a lot more, right? With how do you transferable skill things, right? We talk about that one, but just the drills and the things aren't really set up for you to succeed, right? Because like I can't blitz an A gap or come off the end when you're doing like the receiving drills and the speed and things like that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, because a route for a receiver is a route at pro day. It's a route 7-on-7 in practice. It's a route in the game. You're more than likely correct. It's pretty cut and dry, and it's different for a defensive player. So that's a great point.
All right, so before we jump back into some other stuff, I did. You talk about the combine, right? And the biggest things you get out of the combine is like, oh my God, new record is this, a new record of that. So I just jotted down some of the top highlights, man. So, in the top ones, right? Because there's so many things that they test, but the top ones, of course, is the bench, right? So I went to the bench and we have a Justin Ernest in 1999 still holds the record. And the only one that's benched 50 reps. He actually did 51 reps, 225 on the bench.
What school? Does it say what school he went to?
So he went to Eastern Kentucky. So he's one of those guys, right? Exactly, right? So this is what's good, because some of these things have that point. So he went to Eastern Kentucky. Now he's, 51, shining. He still holds that record, but it didn't help his draft. He went undrafted. through the rest of the combine, and it noted that he had some injuries his senior year, but like from the senior year to the combine, that's where you're hoping to elevate. He still made the league. He was undrafted, but he played, I think, a year with New Orleans. It was, if I could read my chicken scratch. The Vert Test. All right, so it's your vertical. I jumped on this one because it's a safety, so you can measure it up to what your vert was.
Yeah, please. I want to see.
So in 2005, Gerald, I'm not even gonna pronounce the name, you can look it up, but Gerald, he had a 46-inch vertical.
Yeah.
That close?
I mean, you can, give or take, borrow one from the 10th place.
Carry the 4.
I can create a formula to make it equal out to that.
There you go. So he played at North Carolina. It actually helped him. He went 5th round to the Jags and eventually finished with the Cowboys.
Gerald Sensabaugh.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Your guy.
Yeah.
Well,
Gerald Sensabaugh probably would have had a better career if he wore a different number in the secondary. Shout out to the NFL. Oh, yeah. You can't play in 43. That was Gerald Sensabaugh's number. I don't know what that number was. So
yeah, that was why. And well, NFL has single digits now to alleviate some of those things, right?
Yeah. So, yep.
One that we can maybe even jump back to thoughts, because I definitely want to bring this up. The Wonderlic test, right? So pin that. We're going to come back to the Wonderlic test because I do want to talk about that. But Pat McNeely, I think. So the average score on the Wonderlic test is a 20 out of 50. So there's 50 questions that they ask on this Wonderlic test that the NFL does, with an aptitude and all of these kind of a series of tests that they put together. He got a 50 out of 50. Yeah, and that was back in 1975. So no one's gotten a better score since 1975.
They grade that on the Scantron.
Little bubble sheets, right? So, but then, they kind of put the caveat. He did go to Harvard and he was a punter. So, punter, Cincinnati Bengals. He played 10-year career. So obviously that helped him out. And I mean, obviously he was a good punter. And then the last one is the one that everybody cares about. I mean, hell, Rich Eisen even does it. And the shit's hilarious when they race him against himself.
for a great cause.
For a great cause. No, which is amazing, right? 40. So the 40-yard dash is, I would say, the epitome, because speed, right? You can't coach it. You either have it or you don't, right? So who do you think holds it or the time? Guess either one.
I think it's John Ross, right? With like 4.24 or 4.22 or something like that. You
were on point. Yep. So John Ross, he just recently broke the record that Chris had. He ran which is 2017. He ran a 4.22, which is the fastest. And I forgot I was supposed to write what old boy ran, but anyway, he's the fastest right now, and he's playing with the Bengals. So,
update. He's with the Giants
right.
now. He just signed with the Giants.
He just signed. That was the other point. Was I'm not going to give him the official time because I'm holding it down with Bo Jackson, who ran a 4.12.
Yeah, I mean, and if you talk to one of my cousins, there's a dude in Greenville that runs a 3.9, Greenville, Texas. So,
that was a pro day time. I tell you that.
3.9 in Tim's, according to him. Yeah, Tim's.
So those are just some of the top things, but those are the things that you hear out of the combine, and I thought it was cool to just run down and see some of the top top things they had. But let's get back to it though.
Okay, that's A1 research, by the way.
Hey, you know how we do it over here, man. We get what they want. So give me your thoughts on the Wonderlic, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to. When you said the one, I was trying to think about my personal experience with the Wonderlic test. Don't know the score I got. Probably much like every other test I got, I probably passed, but not that great. A series to get degrees.
Did you pass on the curve too, or was it straight out?
Maybe the curve,
right?
Yeah, you don't hear as much. There used to be a big thing with the Wonderlic test, especially with positions.
Right.
Quarterback is the one that comes to mind. Vince Young is the player that comes to mind from just the Wonderlic test about how he scored and how that could affect Vince Young. And if everybody remembers Vince Young in college, I think Vince Young next to Reggie Bush probably is the best college football players I've ever seen.
And the
but
best
I remember
was when he
hands
down,
Rose
right?
Bowl.
Yeah.
Might be the best college. So I remember his draft stock was questioned probably because of his, Wonderlic score. But that leads to bigger conversations that we've had about, black quarterbacks in this position and can he understand the playbook and all that kind of stuff. So
and then how are these questions generated and like what's the basis on, any of
all
that
kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
I think much like my dad used to always say, like a degree, right? A degree just means you know how to read and follow directions. Is what he used to always say. Hey, getting that paper just says, hey, Miles, you can read and complete a task, right?
Right.
And maybe that's what the Wonderlic is. It's like, hey, does this man recall something? How is he going to adjust to this scenario? How does this apply to him playing football?
Facts. All right. So other than that, just a couple things that since they are moving to this, it was funny right before we came on. I know there's different places that are, well, put it like this: there's a lot of gyms in different locations that support and do like the pro day training, right?
Oh my gosh!
Right, you see them everywhere. Come here. We have there's some that shouldn't be doing it, definitely
a lot
at all.
Yeah.
So there should be some certifications or like measurements. You're talking about times and stuff being a little off in those places. Everybody should have those, but with them not having a combine and the universities, they had to rely on some of these kind of centers like EOX, House of Athletes. Yeah, they did a really great job. They actually, filmed theirs and did a content on it. So helping these guys perform and submit that and hopefully getting coaches, to show them, what's going on. Do you think this is the way forward? Or you think NFL is like, as soon as they can take this back, they're like, all right, shut it down. We'll give you a pro day, but the combine's coming back.
Yeah, I've thought about this because I think you got the best look at what the athletes are from their pro days. Like I said, I think there's a lot of anxiety or just long days. That's not even anxiety. Like I've heard about the combine. I mean, even Jerome Sapp told us about his experience with the combine, how he had a million different interviews. They were sitting in a dark room. He got to do all that. And he just wanted a t-shirt. Then he got to go run a 40. Like all those type of things that happen with the combine that's probably not there at the pro day. So I think you got the best results this this wave up and come to this upcoming NFL draft.
Right.
But the NFL, I mean, it's the combine, right? And I think that's the mecca of
the marquee.
What that spring kind of football looks like, right? You probably have more eyes on the combine than all of the XFL and their whole season, right?
Why you chill the XFL?
I'm just, because there's always a need.
They're making a comeback, man. It's gonna happen this year.
Yeah. Okay, but there's always a need for an alternative football, and we miss football in the spring. It's just like, nah, just wait for the combine, get your football fixed. Yeah, and then go from there. Yeah.
You think it's so? There were some people that had multiple pro days, right? So you looked at Justin Fields, and there's a couple other people that had like multiple pro days. How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, I didn't understand. I saw Trey Lance from North Dakota State, I think, the quarterback.
Yep.
I thought it was just a repeat. I saw it on the other day. I was like, why are they showing this pro day again? Oh, this man had his 6th pro day today. I'm like, how many pro days he need?
Facts.
I don't know. I don't know if that's just something with COVID or if that's just a new trend. I hope not. That's kind of weird.
Right. Well, they put their best work out. These guys have been training. It's definitely, that time. And you're seeing it more and more, like guys aren't playing in bowl games that don't matter, because they want to they want to train and they want to get, in these certain places to get everything together. But it's all going to come to a culmination next week.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's crazy. It's probably a lot of work that goes into a long sit and wait. This is probably, to my point earlier, the first time in a lot of these young men's life, that they don't really have control of where their next move. You can pick what college you go to. You don't necessarily have an opportunity to pick what pro team you go to. So my prayers are with My prayers are with them. Hopefully we get some more exciting content like CD Lamb and his girlfriend from the draft.
And his hand skills. He showed his hand skills, boy, the way he snatched that phone. And I'm looking for the mamas to be protecting their babies. Like, I'm looking for all of that. I'm excited to see about that. So we're definitely going to do a draft recap show. Yeah. All right, man, before we get out of here, man, you got anything else with the people, man?
Nah, man, it's all love.
All right, man. Well, hey, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the show. You know where to follow us. Please share the show. Give us comments and feedback on what you'd like to hear us talk about or bring into the locker room. We're on everywhere where there's where you can see a podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Please stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yo. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap and back.